Hey everyone, welcome back to Vicarious Gaming. We are doing level 6 of Doom Eternal.
Yep, level 6 is Arc Complex. We actually played through it earlier and our video got deleted, so we are gonna just play through it again on this same save file. You might notice that I have a couple weapon mods that we didn't unlock before, but other than that, it should be
Dr.
pretty
Hayden is just across the
faithful
complex.
to
This
what happened
industrial campus
originally.
was once the headquarters of the Resistance.
Good news for the faithful.
So, as Vega just told us, we are here to get Dr. Hayden, who is the former leader of the UAC, not the cult leader, the normal person leader. I need a chainsaw. That one imp seems kind of bugged out on the wall. Okay. One thing that you'll kind of notice as I get later and later into the game, I usually just have piles of ammo and health laying on the ground, just from doing glory kills normally and stuff. And then whenever you lose health, it's just like, oh well, it's already there for me to pick up. We're ready to go.
Mhm.
There you are. Hello.
I think the pinkies are my favorite ones.
Yeah, they're pretty fun. Oh, I thought you were in it. Whoops. Yeah, I like pinkies pretty well. I don't know what my favorite demon would be, actually. Probably, I think we talked about it before, but probably the Doom Hunter. They're very unique and they require some interesting choices to be made by a player.
I was expecting you to say the Marauder since that's what you play in the multiplayer.
Yeah, I do play the Marauder in multiplayer. They're not very... nothing really changes about the way you fight Marauder, I guess. There is a categorically best way to fight them. You can... So, the Marauder, for people watching, is a new enemy that we see at the end of this level. They are they're supposed to be a dark reflection, I guess, of the Slayer, where there's a lot of similar iconography. The weapons they use are similar as well, which is cool from the context of adding variety to the game and not just holding down left click. But because they're so different and unique, sometimes they're very samey to play against.
Mhm.
You just kind of do the same weapon combo 3 times, I think, and then they're dead. There's not much to it. They do start to put together multiple Marauders. Chainsaw, please. They do start to put together multiple Marauders at a time, and also with other demons, which adds some variety to it. But yeah, they're kind of samey as the game goes on. Oh yeah.
That was something else that we talked about is like combinations of demons that make the play different.
Yeah. Yeah, we spent some time in the last video. We had talked about how before, I think, carcasses, the guys that throw out these kind of mobile shields, really go with everyone. Man, I am not doing great. Carcasses go with everyone because those shields just remove movement options, they block enemies. If you're using rockets, they make you blow yourself up. Another good combo that we talked about in the lost footage was Whiplashes and Mancubus, because Whiplash is a fast enemy and Mancubus is this big slow tank. So normally when you fight a Mancubus solo, or at least not with other big threats with it, you will just kind of stay stationary, pull out your heavy rifle, and yeah, just go to town on those turrets. But if there's a Whiplash moving around, you don't really have that kind of time to take and do that. So that's another combo that I like quite well. There's a Cacto Demon around here somewhere. There you go. Oh, Purple Sludge. This is I think a really well designed arena because I think so there's a lot of Purple Sludge around, yeah. But I think they actually took a lot of care in where they put the Purple Sludge so that it wouldn't be something that you're constantly accidentally landing into, if that makes sense. If you put a small amount of effort into thinking about where the sludge is, you're usually okay. Yeah, I think
it seems like there's enough platforms that you can stay out of it.
Yeah, and there are also platforms like in the middle. Also, one thing that you'll find out is you can Purple Sludge, or you can get out of Purple Sludge with the Meat Hook Shotgun.
Oh.
That's something that is not intuitive and is never explained, and it might be something that I just do without really noticing it.
That might be a kind of Overwatch playstyle coming out.
How so?
The mobility in Overwatch, you expect to be able to dash out of a slow or something like that.
Oh, that was a fun little audio bug there. Did you hear that?
I just heard it get really quiet.
Yeah. And then, like, at the end of it, Vega had been talking, and so at the end of it, I think he tried to say all of his voice lines at once.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. We are gonna meet a new enemy here. So we were just talking about the Cyber Mancubus. We were talking about the normal Mancubus. We are gonna talk about the Cyber Mancubus. So the Cyber Mancubus does not have the cannon weak points like the original Mancubus does, but he also has. I would like to chainsaw you. He also has just armor. And his attacks are slightly different too. You can knock off the armor with a Blood Punch, like I did, but he is even more powerful in melee range than the other Mancubus. So if you go in for that Blood Punch, you're going to want to have either an Ice Grenade like I used, or maybe just a Frag Grenade would also work. Otherwise, you're going to go in for that Blood Punch, and he's just going to say, nope. Oh, then we're not going to be able to do the Slayer Gate on this playthrough either, because we...
Oh, it's a bummer.
Yeah.
We did it, I promise.
Yeah, see. Well, actually, no, maybe I can do it again. We'll see. Hello, Blue, sweetheart.
That would be our dog.
Yeah, she doesn't realize it's an online game, actually. I'm just gonna go grab the key. Oh wow, I didn't even know you could get up there. Yeah, maybe it will let us do the Slayer Gate again. I was so certain that there was going to be a Marauder in this Slayer Gate, and then we went and did it, and there was not.
You've been so certain that there was going to be a Marauder for like the whole game.
I could have sworn that they appear in some capacity in the Slayer Gates. Just so that, you know, if you're trying this harder challenge, that you get a sneak peek. So that was a Tyrant that we just killed. I like Tyrants pretty well, actually. They're another one of the super heavy class of demons. They're almost like raid bosses from like RPGs. They've got a lot of like, oh, I'm gonna set this whole area on fire, or something like that. I think they play really well around a lot of the smaller demons. Oh my god, I just want to chainsaw someone, thank you.
That's kind of what I was talking about with, maybe Overwatch wasn't the best example, but like using mobility to get out of an AoE like that. I think other games lend themselves to that playstyle, so it may not be intuitive in this game, but I think the reason that you know that is because it's intuitive from other games that you've played.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh wow, I did not realize. That's another new super heavy demon, is the Baron of Hell behind that Whiplash there. I did not realize that he was there when I ice bombed, so that was lucky. I actually don't like Barons very much, truth be told. They are so they're another super heavy demon. They are basically just Hell Knights that are bigger. That's about it. They do have a fireball attack, but it's not really very much. They're basically just, you just shoot them until they die, and I don't know, I just don't really care for it. They do look pretty cool though. You might have noticed that when you do the destructible demon bit where you're blowing off their skin and stuff, they're on fire, which is pretty cool. Oops. That didn't work out how it was supposed to, I don't think, but that's okay.
Was that an issue with the blood punch?
I think so. Well, not an issue with the blood punch, but an issue with the glory kill.
Oh,
Part of the
I
issue.
have a hard time telling unless I see the big like bright blue flash. I have a hard time telling when you're going in for the glory kill.
Yeah. Part of the, I think. So Jen and I are both software engineers. So if I had to guess what is going on with the blood punch, that button is bound to a lot of different things based on what you're doing. It's bound to operate with picking up upgrades and stuff. It's bound to do your melee attack. It's bound to do your blood punch. It's bound to do glory kills. And I think there's some sort of logic in there that it's having trouble saying, oh, I should be doing this thing at this time.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, it's just using context and like distance from the demon, I would imagine.
Yeah. And like what else is in the way. But yeah, I've seen a few instances of it where it will blood punch a staggered demon and then just knock them out of the staggered state.
Don't forget to talk about Dr. Elena Richardson because it's very funny.
Yeah, so I started that audio log there. I'm not going to stay and listen to the whole thing because there's like 4 of them and they're each like a minute long. This is already a longish level. But basically, she is a ARC scientist who is in charge of evaluating what the hell Doom Guy is doing and why he's doing it. So she starts off with her first recording there where she's like, alright, he's definitely not a demon, that's for sure. We think he's human, but the gratuitous amount of murder would suggest otherwise. And then over the course of the messages, she just gets more and more like, alright, this does seem very biblical. Maybe he is a god. Who's to say?
I have this like visual, you know, the stereotype of the scientist being all like hair up in a bun, glasses on, and I just have this visual of like her hair getting all like scattered out of the bun and her glasses being crooked. And maybe he is a god.
Yeah, that does sound like what they were going for. A lot of good memes about Dr. Richardson too.
Yeah, I bet. A lot of Rule 34 content, I would imagine too, because that voice is extremely sultry.
Yeah, it's got kind of a tone to it. Oh yeah, we didn't really, well no, we did cover this. The chain gun attachment that I use now, the mobile turret, is so effective at killing Hell Knights and Dread Knights and Barons. It staggers all of them, and it kind of gives you a place to use, to have fun, just to throw out the turret and be like, I'm just gonna mow this guy down now. Alright, what do we got? Oh, well, I thought I was on Arbalest, but this is okay. One thing I mentioned in our other playthrough was you can kind of tell when I don't really know what to do in a situation, because I'll just start hot swapping between the super shotgun and the ballista and firing as fast as I can.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you.
Yeah, the playstyle is definitely different from those first few levels where you're like, okay, boom, this guy spawns here, boom, this guy spawns here, and they were dead right away.
Yeah, you just don't. You do have a lot of firepower in this game, obviously, but you don't have the DPS. Oh, okay. Goodbye. You don't have the DPS to just instantly murder everything like that. But you can probably murder one guy at a time, you know, pick them off and then circle around, dodge a little bit, wait for the next opportunity. That's usually how I play. We also talked a bit about in the lost recording.
The Lost Archives.
We talked a bit more about sound design because that was something that you hadn't noticed before. So we've mentioned before that sound plays a pretty important role in this game, and we've made that comparison to Overwatch. There's a bunch of like random beeps and stuff that you hear going on while I'm playing. That's the game telling me things like my flamethrower is ready, or my dash has come off cooldown, chainsaws recharge, stuff like that, where it's not easy to look down at the bottom right of the screen and then also the bottom left of the screen, you know, every 5 seconds. But if they can communicate that to you in some other way, then, you know, awesome.
Yeah, I'm getting much better at kind of translating what those sounds mean. I think it would be more intuitive if I were actually playing, but
Yes.
For just watching it, it was an overwhelming amount of information. I think I'm getting better now at saying, okay, that sounded like it was associated with dash and that sort of thing.
Yep. Yeah, they do a pretty good job making them, I don't know if make sense is the right word, but check this out. So I'll chainsaw this guy and then listen for the noise after I pick up this new one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very like distinct, and it makes you think of a bucket of gas.
Yeah.
So yeah, they definitely spent so much care in the sound design for this game. Grab that, I guess. This next fight's pretty fun. They force you to use a power-up. Well, they don't force you to use it, but they heavily encourage you to use a power-up called the Berserker, which basically you can melee glory kill everyone for about a minute. You'll know it when it happens.
Yeah.
Usually I try and wait till these glass windows up here break out, and then that's when a lot of stuff starts happening. Like that. Yeah, so this is the Berserk. This is where they hide the real glory kills. I actually think the 2016 glory kills in general, and specifically Berserk, was better. Just as far as like how it looked, they're functionally the same thing. But one of the big criticisms that people had for Eternal, that was pretty valid, I think, was that glory kills were kind of samey. Even the ones that were quote-unquote different usually involve kind of the same thing, like, I punched this guy so good that he died from it, and yeah, we're done now. Oh, okay, we're off. Whereas, and also there's that little sword that I have, right? That's a new addition to Eternal that actually a lot of people didn't like. Because, you know, instead of ripping off a demon's arm and beating them to death with their own arm, you are just kind of stabbing them, which doesn't look as cool. Alright, where's this? Oh, I have... where's my ammo? Jesus. Okay, I do have some ammo. That was a really weird and overly prolonged fight. Chain gun, before I got used to used to weapon swapping pretty well, the mobile turret attachment for the chain gun was my jam. Did I get that?
We have talked before about your control scheme. I think that was also in the Lost Archives or whatever.
Oh yeah. We were. So one thing that is, I think a lot of people who try to do Ultra Nightmare and speedrunning and all that do that they don't talk about very much is I have multiple buttons that are bound to the same function in a few cases. So for example, I have my grenades bound to G on the keyboard and also my middle mouse button. So if I am moving around a lot and using my left hand on the keyboard a lot, then I will use the middle mouse button to switch grenades. And then if I'm, shooting or doing a weapon combo, because I have my weapons bound to mouse buttons, if I'm doing that, then it's easier to hit G on the grenade and switch it. Again, it's something that's not really talked about too much, but I think it helps a lot.
Second turret will give you the aim needed to destroy the remaining tentacle.
I just love those turrets. Just they have such a heavy feel to them, and they're like, I am going to fuck up whatever is in my path.
Yeah, they got a lot of weight behind them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did such a good job with having animations feel meaty, I guess, in this game. That was another one, I think it was God of War, the recent God of War game that came out, where they were like, yeah, we spent like 6 months plus just studying MMA fighters and like how they move when they're fighting, and how to accurately translate that in a believable way to a game.
Friends shall not walk on tainted ground. Earth must be cleansed.
And there's a lot of for that turret in particular, we've talked about before how Hugo Martin he also worked on Pacific Rim, and part of that is just when you have something that big, you have to move it slowly in order to have that payoff.
Mm-hmm.
In most cases, and I think that's something that a lot of animations and movies and stuff mess up. Is that like, oh yeah, we have this giant thing that's accelerating at the same speed that a human could. And it's like, well, no, that's not how nature works. A lot of floors dropping out in this level. So there are, if you need it, I think there are 3 chainsaw ammos in this arena. So you can plan if you have a particular type of enemy that you don't like to fight and just want to chainsaw them, either in this arena or in the area after it. You can plan out that chainsaw, make it a little easier. I don't know how well you can hear it, but you can always tell when like a new wave of demons comes in, because A, the music kicks up, and then B, there's always just like a bunch of like generic grate exploding noises, where it's like, yeah, they're coming in through the walls. Where are any of the heavy demons? Is that it? There we go. We've definitely talked about that before, but I always get frustrated when I'm in an arena and I know there's a heavy demon around who is just causing all the little guys to respawn, but I can't find them, and so I just have to keep killing the little guys for an eternity. What else? There he is. Took that one a while to spawn.
This is just a note that you gave me. That's all I have. But using terrain to break pathing, and I think the Whiplash is probably a good example of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Oh yeah, I guess we did never talk about that. The best way that you can outmaneuver demons in this game is vertically. there are several instances of demons that are able to keep up with you just like on foot, basically. None of the demons, I don't know if this is intentional or just a limitation on the design behind them, but basically none of the demons can instantly climb up a wall. They have to look, find the wall near and you can watch them doing this. You can watch the AI making these decisions. They look, they find a wall that would be climbable and that is also near you, then they have a little climb animation, then they're on top of the wall, then they turn around and look at you wherever you are. So that's a long process. Whereas, you know, a person can just be like, oh yeah, I remember where that wall is because I was on it a second ago and now I can go jump up there. Oh, I'm stuck. Let's see, so there's a chainsaw here, we talked about. There's one over here. Oh yeah, there's also Cyber Mancubus. There we go. So the big one that I think most people would probably want to use the chainsaw ammo on is not this first Hell Knight here, but the second one. Because the first one, if you keep your head on straight, you can just, you know, rocket launcher lock on, burst him down like that. The second one is in a more kind of compromising position. Let's see. There he is. Whoop. Chainsaw. This is a room where they put in all the purple sludge just to make you deal with a single Hell Knight, which I kind of like. You can actually cheese it though. I kind of tried to do it there. You can sort of jump off of that ledge, hit the monkey bars, swing back across the monkey bars and get over here. Wasn't able to pull it off this time though. Alright, we're almost to the end here. I think we gotta hit the next turret and then we go fight the Marauder and we'll be good to go. I love how the chain gun just turns into like a pink mist. It's very, very well done.
Yeah, the chain gun has those good sounds to the like ka-chunk as it whatever, unspools is the only word I can think of.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably right.
No, it's probably not right.
Unfolds, maybe? Sets up? I don't know. There is a secret in there if you hit this button. We already got all the stuff there in the last playthrough. Yeah, that door at the end is now unlocked. But we don't need it.
We don't need it. We definitely don't need it.
Don't need it. This is actually, I've actually had a bunch of bugs in these towers. I think one of the biggest issues they had with bugs in this game was when moving objects are supposed to interact with the player, for whatever reason, doesn't handle it well, like so. Oh boy. Yeah, so sometimes you just fall through the floor like that. Good news, this has happened to me before. I think you can just drop to the bottom and it's fine.
Was it fine?
It wasn't fine. Yeah, I can't even do my dash. This is... Oh no, and I have 12 extra lives. Oh no. Oh no. We might have to cut this.
Alright.
Hold on, let me see if I can... Yeah, that's just the bottom. Oh my god. Okay, yep. Load checkpoint, let's try that. Yeah, so sometimes that's happened before and I can still drop to the bottom and the tentacle that you're supposed to destroy is still there, but it's not, you can't collide with it. Okay, don't fuck me here, okay? I'm watching you. There's a section in the DLC where you're jumping across several moving platforms like this, and it's hard to watch every time. There's like a 1 in 10 chance that you'll just fall through one of the platforms, and even if you don't fall through, you're like stuttering up and down as the turret moves.
Override successful.
That was funny that he was just like,
Excuse you?
Dr. Hayden's outpost.
Yeah, there's another good moment like that later in the game. Okay. Platform's still good. I'm glad we caught at least one major bug like that.
Uh-huh.
There was what we talked about in the Lost video. There was a bug where the textures weren't loading very well, which, you know, is obviously kind of a bummer when you're playing and the textures don't load. But one thing that I thought was impressive about that was, even though the textures were just completely like PS1 textures,
Yeah.
the frame rate did not drop at all, which is pretty impressive. I think that they can make that choice to say, okay, well, we can swap these textures in fast enough that you won't lose frame rate. It's probably an impressive detection system on that.
And they do their engine in-house, right?
Yes, they build their engine from scratch. Yeah, that's one thing that I think they'll probably never stop doing. I mean, obviously most AAA studios do that anyway, but Doom is the first-person shooter game, you know? It's the first major AAA first-person shooter game that really gained a lot of notoriety. It might have, I don't think it was the first shooter, but it was the first big one.
Yeah, I can remember my dad playing it when I was a kid.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I need a chainsaw. There you go. I should have taken that health upgrade up there too. Oh boy, yeah, I really should have taken that health upgrade, huh? Super helpful. Yeah, I think they pared down how frequently you get upgrades in this game as opposed to 2016, which I'm fine with. I kind of don't really use them that much anyway, to be honest. Okay, so in this building here is our enemy. Give me the power up, please.
What was that power up?
Onslaught, which is quad damage, basically. So usually I just kind of use it to just blow through that bridge and get inside. Oh yeah, there's the last Dr. Richardson thing. I missed the other two.
Log entry 007. March 3rd.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That her subtitles are just gonna be coming up during this cutscene. Whoops.
Oh, yep.
That's okay. Alright.
We had a really cool intersection last time. I don't remember precisely what line it was, but it was like he grabbed something and
Oh yeah.
he said something really dramatic.
Yeah, it was either I feel it is in Doom, I have faith, or something. Maybe not.
I'll watch for it.
I hate this guy so much. I hate him. He's in the DLC and I still hate him. Oh, it's the next line. I think it says like the Slayer's time is now, or yeah.
Yep.
There it is.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Can I just say that it is an honor for me personally?
I always like how whenever you encounter non-cultist humans in the game, they're all like, uh-oh, demons are coming, aren't they?
Attention, emergency protocol.
I like that idea of like, he doesn't give a shit about the other people to the point where they are, in many cases, just straight up afraid of him. It'd be like having a bear attack you, and then a dragon breaks into the room, and you're like, I didn't know dragons even existed, and it just ate that bear. I'm not in a better place right now, I don't think.
Demonic presence, threat level 5, entering main laboratory.
Such a cool design. You can actually get an armor set that looks similar to that. He's got similar, you know, kind of iconography, the chest power source or something. I don't know what that is.
Iron Man suit.
Also, forearms as big as biceps, biceps as big as quadriceps. So swole.
Never one of us. You were nothing but a usurper, a false idol. My eyes have been opened.
I might switch back to the non-gold skins just so you can see a little bit of the facial expressions. I thought that was a nice touch.
I didn't realize he had facial expressions. I thought that was one of the things with Doom Guy that you really couldn't see him.
I mean, he has a little bit of a facial expression. So the Marauder is... talk about that real quick before I kill him. The Marauder is, like we said before, he does not behave like other demons. If you shoot him basically from any distance, he'll just hold up that shield and block everything. And if you shoot him too much, he summons that little spirit dog to fight you. So what you have to do, you can probably hear these little noises, and then that little green flash when he comes to swing his sword at you, or his axe rather. That's the only time you can get in with attacks. There are other small ways that you can damage him, but this is hands down the most effective way to kill him. And yeah, so in the main campaign, he only really comes out by himself, but in the DLC, they started using him with other demons to kind of complement them and giving them buffs in certain ways.
I didn't mention it this time, but I absolutely loved how he just chucked Hayden through the portal.
Yeah. Or he's like, oh, he's very, very fragile. We need to take careful extraction here. And then just chunk on the ground. I think we mentioned last time that my favorite bit about that is you could have walked backwards through that portal and just kind of left, but it was like, no, I'm gonna stay and kill you real quick, actually. Well, anyway, sorry for the late upload this week, guys, but we will try to be back on top of that next week. And thanks for watching.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.